Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today we got part 2. We're gonna take that beautifully brined turkey of yours, and we're gonna go ahead and put a little love on it and get it over here in this Lone Star and this offset, and put some clean smoke on it. It won't take long. Let's get right to it. And cut this music. This video begins right here inside of this magic igloo. If you saw yesterday's video, you know what's inside of here. We got the ultimate Killer Miller Q turkey brine. This turkey is already ready to go. Oh, if you could smell what I'm smelling. This right here is a medley of flavors and scents that have come together, and I'm hoping it's going to put together the perfect holiday Thanksgiving bird. We're going to be getting this up out of here shortly, and I'll show you some of the next things we're going to do. If you want to see how we got together with this marinade or this brine, check out yesterday's video. I'll make sure I link it in here. That's something that you definitely want to add into your party, and I think this alone will take your holiday bird over the top. And then while that turkey is still chilling out, I haven't brought it quite out yet, we're going to do one step that I need to get knocked out here, which is making me some compound butter. And as you can see, I got me a couple sticks of butter out. It's actually the first time I noticed they gave me the thicker, shorter pieces instead of the long ones, but I like that. Takes up less space in the old refrigerator. What I'm checking is to see how soft they are as they kind of warming up out here. I need this to get to the point where I can cream this together pretty easy. And I mean, this is nothing too hardcore. Oh, I know one thing I did forget. My garlic. I'll be adding some garlic in here as well. Basically, I'm going to end up mincing some garlic up. I'm going to mince, I'll chop up some of this rosemary, some of this thyme, and a little bit of this sage. These are some of the things that I had already added into your traditional items that you usually add on to your Thanksgiving turkey. This was in my brine. I'll be adding this in, and we're going to be putting it into this compound butter. This is going to be going under the skin of our turkey. We're going to give that a chance to let it kind of baste in there and give us our flavor. And I really think we're going to come in there and get us a good, nice bird by the end. So I'm going to let this hang out a little bit longer and get a little bit softer. Grab me a bowl, and I'll start real quick on those garlic bulbs, and we'll be ready to rock. There it is. Nothing too crazy. Got that butter up out of there. Added about 4 cloves of garlic. You can totally go to your own palate. Like I said, this isn't rocket science. That butter that I'm using is salted. That'll be able to give me a nice little bit of extra flavor. And other than that, like you saw, we had the rosemary, we had the thyme, and we had some of that sage in there. All I'm about to do now, that butter is nice and soft. We're going to mash this all together, let it all come together, and I'm going to toss it back in the refrigerator, even though I don't want this to get too hard. Nice and herbaceous. As you can see, it's looking like mashed potatoes over here, and it's actually not that loose, so I'm not even going to worry about putting this back in the refrigerator because I want this to be a little bit moist. We're going to, as I told you earlier, we're going to be going under the cavity, or under the skin more or less, and directly onto the actual bird with some of this butter. Give us a little bit of a flavor bomb, so I'm not going to leave it out here, but I am going to leave this out. Let's get this bird out. All right, back to this bird. Man, let me tell you, this thing smells good. Every time I open this up, it's just pleasant. Very holiday-ish, very herby, very, all spices. It definitely reminds me of more Christmas than anything. It's the harvest season, shall we say. But time to get this baby out of here. Grab me a cauldron. I'm going to grab this bird out of here. I'll put it on his back. It's been on his front all the time, breast side down, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay it on its back, let it kind of go back the other way. Obviously I don't need any of the spices or any of the herbs or anything else more, so all of that stuff's gonna get discarded. I'm gonna be spatchcocking this bird today. I want to take care of that first before I go ahead and take care of all the rinsing and make sure that I get all of that off, and then we'll season this puppy up. All right, so we back inside. That bird had a second to kind of drip dry. You can actually see some of that color that has seeped into it. So that's good to know that that brine is definitely penetrated. One thing that you might have noticed was my liquid didn't look super reddish, which is good. That means, like I said, without cooking those cranberries and everything, they didn't taint my water too much. So that's a good thing. Still got to rinse this thing off and get it all prepped up. But first things first, for the first time, I'm actually going to try spatchcocking this turkey. You've probably seen this done a million times with chickens. Basically, all we're about to do is remove this backbone. So I'm going to take this out with my kitchen shears here, dedicated to usually on chicken. We're basically gonna take the backbone out. We'll flip this baby over, clean out anything in here that we don't like, crush the top. It'll be nice and flat. That'll help it cook a little bit more evenly. And from there, it should also help it cook a little bit more faster. So I got my scissors and everything right here. let me get to work and do some cutting. All right, I'll give you a peek at just what that looked like for those who haven't spatchcock or never tried it with a turkey. Let me tell you something. That old turkey back, that's a lot stronger than that old chicken back, man. I had to almost use 2 hands. This spinal cord here, neck bone, all that good stuff. Some people will keep this. This is obviously something that you can throw in and make your chicken stock with, and a lot of people love making their own stock. Maybe next year we'll try that. This year we will not, and I will be tossing that just like I do with all the majority of the other stuff that comes out the inside of this bird. Not a whole lot left to clean up because I did get some of that out the way, but this is your time. If you got any loose skin or something like that that you want to get rid of, as you see right there, sometimes you might have some leftover inner parts that need to get up out of here, as you'll kind of see in that leg quarter area. I've already got rid of mine. Definitely some of this here, all that stuff. I'll be cutting that out, cleaning this up, flipping this over, and then we'll go ahead and rinse this thing all the way off, and I'll go ahead and crack the top, and we'll start on the seasoning. All right, so we got this baby cleaned off, obviously. The back is all taken out. We got rid of some of the stuff we didn't like. I gave it a little crack down the middle. I didn't want to overly try to flatten this thing out. This is going to be pretty solid for me. I still want to have somewhat of that turkey look. But mainly what I wanted to do was make sure all of that brine solution, all of those herbs and everything was up off of here. Obviously get anything out of here that still needed to go and all that extra skin and stuff. And now what we need to do is we need to get everything dried off. When we talk about trying to get you down to some crispy skin, water is your enemy. So all of that moisture is actually going to be fighting you on getting your skin crispy and for this bird to go ahead and cook and crisp up the way it's supposed to. So we're going to take some time, get everything dried off on this bird skin wise, all of that moisture. We'll try to get most of that away, as well as everything that's up under here and on the other side. And then after we do that, we'll be ready to actually go ahead and start adding some of that compound butter under the skin. We'll get some oil on here and we'll get this baby seasoned up, and before you know it, we'll be out there on that Lone Star. So now that we got this bird pretty respectfully dry, and we're going to be continuing to dry, and I like to use my actual hands on this and not a glove. So at this point I've been washing my hands a million times in Thanksgiving cooking mood, so that's part of the game. Basically I'm about to be creating some space for us to be able to get some of this butter down in here on this leg. If you can see my finger here, all I'm doing is lightly sliding directly in. I don't need to necessarily kind of think of it like an injection. I don't need to tear this whole thing apart and mess up my skin completely, just trying to make sure I get it all over this whole leg. But I'll be able to kind of open up that pocket pretty wide, at least get everything over this area. It's going to permeate, it'll melt, it'll kind of sneak down into some of those other spots. I'm going to do that on both sides while I got this upside down now. Give it another one more pat dry down as we're going along, as we're still creating some moisture. Once I flip it over, we're going to go right through the top, and I'll show you on the top of how we get down to that breast. What is that? Give it out of there. How we'll get to the breast, which is way easier. But let me go ahead and create, like I was showing you, these pockets over here and get into these old leg quarters with some of this butter. After washing my hands 7 more times since you last saw me, I want to show you the other side. Excuse me. I got some got some of that garlic butter in already on the leg quarters. Normally, like I was saying, I come from the top, but I feel like I got a pretty solid seal where I wasn't really finding no openings. I was kind of just reaching around in there. Now I could have forced one in, but I like when it's nice and sealed because that'll actually be somewhere to hold my butter. So I said, let me try the bottom area. And what I was able to do was kind of create this pocket. As you can already see, it's been done. But literally, and I just wanted you to see what it looks like, the skin's pretty rough. So, I mean, as long as you don't do anything too crazy, you can manipulate it pretty well. And as you can see, I pretty much got my whole hand, more or less all my fingers, inside of here on this one side, came through and created another pocket right over here. So we'll be able to sneak some of that butter in. I didn't want to go all the way up, but just more or less kind of up to the top, so we still got a seal so it doesn't all just pour right back out. But at least it'll be able to kind of bathe itself, and then from there we'll be able to go on. So let me get these 2 pockets filled up with a little bit more of this good old herb butter, and then we should be almost ready. Got the basics pretty much ready. We stuff under there, if you can kind of see some of them herbs underneath. There was a little bit left, so you don't want to cross-contaminate, so I never wanted to actually have that fork or any of that stuff actually touching my regular butter, because I'm going to be using this again later for this bird, and who knows, for a little bit of something else, but definitely didn't want any of that raw bird in there. So pretty much I was just adding a little bit of a dollop right there, and from there using my hands to kind of smooth and rub everything in, but did not want to waste any. So while I wasn't going to do this initially, I went ahead and used my last little bit and just kind of smeared the bird a little bit. Got a little bit of it all over. So you got a little bit of these herbs and stuff on there. Normally, man, when you smoking, these herbs are just going to end up turning into little dark bits. They're going to burn all to hell. So I really didn't want to go through too much of that, but I'm not too worried either. It's going to be a smoke bird, so it's going to get a little darker color. Really, what I'm trying to do is make sure that we come through with that flavor bomb. So we got that butter in there. You can see we got it under the breast. We got it underneath on the thighs. Obviously, it was dried first. What I'm about to do next is I'm going to flip back over because I want to take care of my underside first. I'm going to be coming over the top of it with a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to be using a little bit of that SPG Killamilla style 110, okay? Nothing crazy, just some salt, pepper, garlic. We'll give it a nice layer all over. We don't need to go too heavy. We don't want to get this too salty. We've already brined it. We've just added some butter that has salt in it as well and some more herbs. So really it's going to be our finishing touch. We'll give it a light cover on the back. I'm going to show you what that looks like before we flip it over and we make the top side pretty. And here's one side pretty much done. I got some spray olive oil, so I was able to use that and not have to make too much more of a mess. And then, like I told you, this is that Killamilla Q SPG 110 that we just kind of hit all over the sides. Get the nooks and the crannies, the inside and the out. Let's flip it around. Finished product. Got it sitting back. Went ahead and pulled those wings back, so we got them sitting back strong and sun tanning. But that SPG is all over. This is about to set up. I'm about to actually toss this back in the fridge so all my stuff doesn't melt, and we're going to go check on this fire. We'll probably be running around 275, 300 today, and this is a 12-pound bird, so we'll see how long it takes us to get it done. This thing's smelling good up in here. Between that butter and then that good old-fashioned Killamilla Q110, let me tell you, we're going to be all right in the game today. We got the Lone Star over there fired up and ready to rock. We at about 300 degrees. Let's get this baby on the bottom rack, and we're going to let him chill. Hey, I want to jump in here real quick and let you know, thanks for following along on today's cook. If you're new to the channel, go to the bottom right corner, make sure that you subscribe. Find me on IG, find me on Facebook, and find me on TikTok. Other than that, we got to get back to this turkey. Hey, we in there. She's on. I ain't too worried. Like I said, this is 12 pounds. We're going to be rocking at about 300. It'll drop down to maybe 275 in between the wood transitions. So I'm expecting at least a good 3 hours of smoke. I'll bring y'all back in about an hour. We'll take a peek, maybe give it a rotation. All right, team. We rolling right along. It's been an hour and a half, almost hour and 40 minutes. We getting us some good color, and this bird is cooking right along. See them legs starting to open up a little bit, starting to let me know that they cooking along. I can see that meat getting nice and white here. I'm about to get this baby a full rotation. It's like I said, we're at about an hour and 40 minutes. I'm expecting them somewhere around a little over 3 hours or something like that probably. I'll get a temp on here in a little bit, but just throwing some wood in. So let me grab my giant spatula and get this thing in rotation. Here we go. Now we got the legs towards the back and the breast to the front. About to close this baby back down. Bring y'all back here in a little bit. All right, team, we smoking right along, getting this fire cranked back up, keeping it going, Killamilla Q style. 2.5 hours in, we is getting some good looking color back here. I see them legs getting nice and red back there. I'm about to check out my temps and see what I'm looking like here, and we're gonna kind of go from there. One side in the breast, I'm looking at about $1.53. On the other side, that one's looking like it's about there, so closer to the fire, I'm not surprised. We're gonna rotate this baby. Them legs back there looking dark, and I see some starting to split, so they're probably close. Let me get this a flip. So while I got that switched around, this isn't gonna take too much longer. I'm thinking maybe another 15 minutes to get that one side up a little bit higher. I melted down a little bit of that compound butter that we already put together. We're gonna go ahead and baste this baby real quick. And we'll also baste it at the end once we get everything set. But you know, this ain't nothing but that garlic, thyme, rosemary, and the sage. So at the end of the day, let's get this bird a little bit wet. Went along at 3.5 hours. Yes! Look at the color. I'm telling you, when we get this baby in, I came in here a couple times. I basted it with a little bit more of that butter compound mixture. We looking great. Let's check the temps on this last side, and And we hitting. Done. Juice is running out pretty. Oh yes, let's get you up off of here. Here's a quick peek as we got this baby in the house. It smells amazing. You can still see them little pockets of butter and herbs and all that stuff that got trapped up under that skin. I'm liking that. Good looking color. Overall, we end up taking a little over 3.5 hours. It's a 12-pound bird. I was more or less wanting to be at 300, but truthfully, I was mostly in between 275-ish to 300. Wasn't at 300 that often. So I feel like it actually cooked pretty fast and pretty decently for everything else. I'm going to let this hang out for a little bit and just chill. Man, this baby is just drip drying. I don't know if we'll catch any now, but there we go. It's been straight just oiling over here, and every time I've tempted, it's come out moist. So I think we're going to have us a moist, flavorful bird. We're going to find out here in just a little bit. All right, it's been at least 15, 20 minutes, man. I got to get in here. I'm ready to taste this thing. My whole downstairs smells amazing. Let me make sure I don't drop it up out of here now and mess it all up. Man, you can smell that bird. All right, let me get this on the table. Clearly, if you're watching this video when it actually came out, you know it is not Thanksgiving yet, so I can't go into this bird. I'm not going to get into my good pieces all in the middle, which looks absolutely perfect with my, I was about to say injection, with that butter garlic that we put back in there. That's going to be some of the best pieces, I'm hoping. But what I am going to do, since this leg is already inviting itself to come on up off of here, we're going to get this leg quarter out. I'll chop it up, and then we'll get a taste of that. That came up off of there real easy. As you can see, my cutting board is nice and wet. It is nice and juicy. That redness is, again, from that marinade, or I keep wanting to say marinade, from that brine that we had it in and from that smoke. But my legs actually was at about 190, so these is nice and done. They are looking amazing, and we about to get us a good bite. Look at that smoke ring. I'll tell you what. Flavor on through. I can taste that thyme and that rosemary. And needless to say, I'm talking with my mouth full. Wow. That is a great flavor in there. Let me give one more taste. It is so tender. You see, I can get a perfect bite out of here like it's a rib. So tender. Look at the smoke on there. When I tell you this is rendered through, it is no fat in there. Oh, that's perfect. Let me put that down. Okay. That holiday brine is the truth. And I just had to come back real quick. I'm still tasting off of this thing, man. That mug is good. Look how easily, I literally didn't even cut this one. I just pulled the leg and jiggled it a little bit. Just unlocked and came right up out of there. For all my dark meat lovers, here go that whole leg quarter sitting pretty for you. Nothing but a little SPG and a whole lot of love on it. So we got that old turkey done. I am happy the way that old turkey came out. At the end of the day, it was absolutely perfect. My salt level wasn't too high. That was something I was not worried about, but something, one of the first things I wanted to taste to make sure it wasn't going to be too salty. When you brine in a turkey that's already been frozen, like I kind of showed you in the video, if you saw the first video when we was actually taking care of the brine and everything, it's already going to be in a solution. It's technically already been brined. There's some salt and some liquid to kind of keep it more or less in that package and to be able to be good when it gets to your table. Normally, most people like to brine a brand new fresh turkey, a fresh turkey where it doesn't have anything in it. What I did, and it actually worked out well, was take the time to really make sure it's completely unthawed so that you're not still holding on to some of that moisture, but then also rinsing it off really well. And I actually went ahead and let it soak in some water for a while. Probably when I was actually putting together the brine. So I'll probably end up letting it sit in there for about a good 10 minutes, just so we can kind of let all that salt out of it and into that water, help it get out. And then from there, I kind of let it go ahead and drain for a little bit before we actually got it together and putting it into the brine. Now let's talk to that brine. I really enjoyed that brine. It's a recipe that I knew was already good. I doctored it up myself like always, added in some things that I like and cut out some things that I didn't care so much for. it definitely just had all the flavors of the harvest season. I mean, that was the perfect thing for the fall, for the Thanksgiving, for Christmas. Even though, as you can see, I'm in no snow, it really made me feel like it was about that time for Thanksgiving. That alone, I enjoyed, and it kind of feels like something that I want to keep doing. As far as the flavor, I was definitely able to taste some of that flavor from that brine in that actual turkey leg when I had it. Some of the things that I quickly noted was that rosemary was front and center. It was nice and smooth. That was a very, I don't know how I want to say it, but it was just a medley of flavors in that turkey, but it was all real smooth. It wasn't really just, you know, normally I inject with Creole butter or something like that. That flavor jump out there and smack you in your face right off the bat. This was real smooth, very perfect, nice blend, nice notes that you would taste after you was already chewing with that thyme and that thyme and the, I was about to say oregano. We didn't put oregano in there. But all of those herbs, all of that stuff came together at the end of the day, and you could really tell the difference. Like I said, my salt level wasn't too high, so I was happy with that. I find that SPG, that Killamilla 110, which is predominantly pepper, it's never usually going really over salt. That garlic comes in there and helps everything wake up. That, and then coming underneath the skin with that garlic butter, complete home run. That infused butter really did the trick. It's something that I really like. It really almost makes me want to go get me a nice steak so I can do something like that as well. It's a nice way of being able to just add a hint of flavor in there, let the meat speak for itself, but really being able to take it up a notch, giving it some garlic, giving it some good herbs, and then obviously a little bit of butter, a little bit of salt. So all in all, this turkey was a hit. I enjoyed spatchcocking it. Basically nothing too crazy as far as how you had to do it, but it did kind of help it cook a little bit more evenly, definitely a little bit more faster. That was a 12-pound bird. Like I said, I was in between 275 and 300, probably more closer to 275 most of those times. And it only took me about 3 hours, almost 3 hours and 40 minutes. I feel like that was pretty decent at the end of the day for being out there on the old offset, but I really enjoyed that subtle smoke flavor that was in there. That again, go right on in there with the way that thing was flavored. It was just something that continued to give you taste after taste after taste. Pretty much what I went ahead and did was go ahead and cut those 2 leg quarters off, chopped off the thigh, chopped off the leg, and that's what you saw me tasting on was the actual turkey leg. And then for my work week and everything, I got my thigh and the rest of the other turkey leg to kind of be able to work on. And instantly what I went ahead and did was I took that whole crown, as I'm gonna call it, which was pretty much that breast, and we went ahead and set them arms back so it was sitting back sunbathing or whatever. So you still had the wings on there. We put that whole thing directly into some aluminum foil, wrapped it down really good, and I popped that baby directly in the freezer. I'll be bringing that baby out for Thanksgiving. That's what we'll be eating on. I do believe it's gonna have the better flavor just because I was really able to load a lot of that butter in there in the pocket, and you were able to see along the way that those herbs and everything was locked into that same spot. I think those are gonna be the best taste. However, that dark meat was fire. Wifey even enjoyed it. At the end of the day, little baby enjoyed it. I'm doing pretty good to start things off. But this is a quick, easy way for you to level up your Thanksgiving turkey. You still got time, but you better have that bird already out of the freezer, if you know what I mean. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm going to catch y'all later. I still got some more cooks coming. I've been backlogging some good videos. But shouts out to the family, all my peoples over there with Black Smoke Barbecue, any of my other family that I might have missed. You in TV land, y'all have a good holiday. I'm going to catch y'all soon. Peace.
Thank you.